Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravos Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at news and headlines from our city, state, and country. We take a look at all kinds of things you bring to the table, but not today. Today is a pre-recorded broadcast. It is Saturday, February 15, and I am pre-recording the broadcast. So today's broadcast is going to consist of basically two parts. In the first half, we will take a look at highlights I have put together from this week's Spotlight interview, which featured Carmen Porras from Oculto and Miranda Mortimer from, why does this happen to me all the time? From Monzon Brewing. Carmen and Miranda, as you learned yesterday, have partnered to volunteer for a MexPup fundraising event that will take place this coming Wednesday. And we didn't get a lot of people watching it live when we recorded it at the joint. So I wanted to make sure that this message gets across, because it's a good cause, it's a good event, and you also get to learn a little bit more about Carmen's business and Miranda's business, both of them owning really successful eateries here in town. Take a look. Okay, let's actually, even before we start talking about the event that we're here to promote, you know, people know you from your restaurant. So why don't you, starting with you, Miranda, why don't you take a second to, for those people that don't know Monzon, just talk a little bit about what your restaurant is about and what you bring to the table, no pun intended.
Sure. So my husband and I, we founded Monzon Brewing. It's a brewery and restaurant right here, just a couple blocks away from the Joint Hotel, actually. And we've been brewing beer and making food since 2017. We also really love dogs. We have 2 rescue dogs ourselves. So drinking and being kind to animals is very important to us.
One thing I will say about Monzon is that you and your husband, you can your own beer and you make your own beer. And because you just told me that you have watermelon beer right now, I have to plug it. You have not tried a fruity beer as wonderful as the beer that you guys make.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we really love playing with fresh flavors, local flavors, changing up our tap list. So while we have some core beers that we do carry more often, we have about 4 that are almost always on tap unless we run out, and then we're trying very hard to catch back up with brewing. But everything else is usually new beers or returning beers that we only brew once a year. And the watermelon, it's called Viva la Vida, inspired by Frida. And it's one of those that we bring back every year, especially when we start seeing those cars come with the watermelons loaded up. We know it's time to brew that watermelon beer again.
And for people that are not familiar with your menu, aside from wonderful craft beer, what can people expect?
So we also have a menu of all made in-house food. We really focus on fresh local ingredients as much as possible across all of our menus. So we have tacos, we have a burger, we have some really good finger food with like Oaxaca cheese rolls, which is basically our version of a mozzarella stick. Really, really yummy. And then we also have a bar with all Mexican-made wine and spirits. So we really focus on made in Mexico, high quality, small batch as much as possible. So you're not going to find Smirnoff at us, but you're going to find really, really good Mexican made options.
Excellent. And of course, Carmen is a friend for many years, and Carmen has Oculto. What's going on these days?
Oculto, we have mainly 3 services. that focus on food and beverages. And it's not per se a traditional restaurant. It's not just open to the public, but we do offer Mexican cooking classes. We also do public dinners or private dinners, and we also do catering to your house or condominium. That's our three services. And what's going on is we're preparing for Thursday, February the 20th, to do the Yucatan Taste Adventure. So it's a menu, traditional Yucatan food, and we have also published it on our Facebook page. And if you click on it, you'll see the menu and you'll see the pricing, and you can buy the tickets by clicking into that other link to buy tickets online. And that's the way to go.
You mean we have to pay to have dinner?
And we include, cocktail, 3 bucks around appetizers, one, the first course and the main course and dessert paired with Mexican wine.
And so far, this winter season or fall season, has it been good for you guys?
Yes, we've been very busy since November with Day of the Dead. We started being busy. Yes,
That's
we've been very busy
wonderful.
in December and January. We're super busy. Yes, everything is going well.
That is great.
Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've got the lay of the land, you have gotten together, you met through MexPup,
Yes.
which is having a fundraising event. Tell us a little bit about MexPup first and foremost.
Okay, so MexPup was started. Was the continuation of an older rescue group that existed, and I don't remember the name.
Fair.
But some of the former volunteers for that group that kind of fell apart and disintegrated came, hopped onto the new name MexPup with Patty and Todd as their founders. And basically, they work with people that want to help local dogs being rescued. There's not a ¿cómo se dice? Como donde tienen a los perros.
There's not a facility.
There's not a facility. It's volunteer based, and the volunteers are scattered in the USA, in Canada, and in Mexico. And here in Puerto Vallarta, there's not a facility, and people do take in dogs. If they want to help their dog, they can take them in their house, or MexPup helps finding how do you say, the foster homes. That's the hard part. If you want to help a dog, maybe you want to foster it, and MexPup will help you foster it, get it healthy, get it the papers to travel to the States and Canada, and find a home there in the process of the dog getting healthy.
So the ultimate goal of the organization is to not only rescue the dogs, but to find them forever homes north of the border.
Yes, and they really do focus on finding the right forever home. So they really make sure the dogs are healthy, that they've gotten the correct medical care. They help if the fostering needs help with training, they can help with that. But they're really dedicated to making sure that the dogs that are adopted out are adopted into forever homes. So you will see sometimes a dog unfortunately does get returned. It's not a good fit, and they don't shy away from those situations and those dogs. They say, we have made a commitment to this pup. We are going to make sure that it finds its home.
Tell me now then, that sounds wonderful. I mean, there's such a big animal spirit in Puerto Vallarta. So many people care about animals in general, and definitely about dogs.
Yeah.
What is the event about, this particular event that is coming up?
So this event is really the annual chance for MexPup to fundraise and raise money to help cover all of those costs that come with rescuing the dogs. We're talking about the vet care, the medical bills, the food, like I said, the training, the boarding, and then also the paperwork to get them ready to fly to the US or Canada, and have them on their way to their forever home. It's a really, really fun event. It has live music, it has tacos, tacos, it has a raffle, it has a silent auction, and it's really the chance to meet other people who are working with this organization, volunteering with this organization, just really passionate about saving dogs. So it's a lot of good people having a really good time.
That is awesome. So we know that the event is going to be on Wednesday, March 5th at 6:30 p.m. We know that there's going to be raffles and all kinds of things. Where is the event going to take place?
So it's at the Spanish Experience Center, which is a beautiful, beautiful venue. I mean, it's a school, but they are using it as a venue on the rooftop, located in Cinco de
In
Diciembre.
5 de diciembre. Excellent. Do you have any, I mean, I know both of you are volunteers. Do you have any idea if MexPup has a specific goal in mind for fundraising or
I know at least they want to have 100 people attending, which means selling those 100 tickets in advance so that inside you can also purchase wine. The taco bar is included.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful chef. Her name is Carla, and her service is Chai Eventos, and she gives MexPup a great price for a vegan taco bar. So that's included.
They're so good. The
Yeah,
tacos are so
yeah,
good.
and it's freshly made corn tortillas, and all the things that you serve in your tacos, it's all vegan. And then you get to buy beer or wine and get to enter the silent auction, and there's live entertainment throughout. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
that is great.
And the tickets are 500 pesos pre-sale. And so tickets are available at Monzon, at the Spanish Experience Center, and there's a third location that I'm blanking on.
Cassandra.
Thank you. Cassandra
Cassandra
Shot
Shot
Jewelry.
Jewelry.
Yeah. And if you can't make it to pre-sale, there's 600 pesos at the door.
Excellent. What are we forgetting to talk about that is important to share about this fundraiser?
I would love to talk a little bit about what Monzon donates to the auction. This is a
I think-
very, very unique package.
I think that is very important. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so we donate, well, first of all, we bring 3 cakes of beer filled with different beers, and we donate that 100% to MexPup. So every sale that we make that night, we are directly handing right back to MexPup. So
Bravo.
if you want a little extra motivation to have another beer, that's a really good reason.
Well, and are you bringing like the fabulous beers you make?
Yeah, we will be bringing 3 of them, and Reed will be there. I will most likely be there, as well as our brewer David and our general manager Solo. So we're gonna have a really good crew there helping out, and we will be bringing our Lupita IPA, our Los Arcos Amber Ale, and as well as a very special beer, which is called, this year it's called Charlie, and this is our annual auction package that we donate to MexPup. And so what it looks like is a custom can that you get to work with me and our team to help us decide the beer style, help us decide the beer art, help us name the beer. And this one is actually, this is Loosey Goosey from last year, the last year's wedding. I didn't want to bring this year's, it is already, but I'm letting that be a surprise for the people who want it, because they're going to get it on March 5th at the
Who
auction.
designs these labels?
I do. I actually
Stop
do.
it.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring, so our Lupita IPA, this is our best-selling beer, our flagship IPA that we're most known for.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, and that's actually our
Look,
dog.
you guys.
Yeah, that's our Lupa that we modeled that off of. So this is the inspiration for this package. This, and it also includes a 24-pack or case of beer that you get with the custom labels on there. This is a really, really unique opportunity, and we don't donate this package to anyone else. So if anyone loves beer or just wants some custom artwork of their dog, it's a really, really great way to help.
And that was our little excerpt from the Spotlight. As I've been mentioning this week, we're considering the possibility of doing this, bringing the Spotlight interviews as part of the content that we have here at Coffee and Headlines, just to simplify your access to it and just to make sure that the interviews get better distribution. Do let me know in the comments how you feel about that, whether you want to see more interviews from the Spotlight as part of the regular programming of Coffee and Headlines, or you would rather stick to the format we've been using all along. Now, on the second half, as I mentioned, I wanted to complete my exploration. Let me just put everything in the right place. There you go. I wanted to complete my exploration of the pueblos mágicos that we started a few weeks ago. As you know, last month, some friends and I took off for 4 days. We spent one night in Talpa de Allende, and then we spent a day in Mascota and nearby towns, and then we spent 2 days, one night in San Sebastián del Oeste. That's right. So we've looked at what we did in Mascota, we've looked at what we did in Talpa, and today we're going to do show and tell of the things that we saw on San Sebastián del Oeste. Plus, we're going to unleash a great bit of news at the end of the show and tell. If you're not familiar with San Sebastián del Oeste, this is not an introductory show and tell. Unfortunately, we have others which I can reference at some other time. But I wanted to show you what it was like to go during the patron saint Fiestas, which is what brought us to San Sebastián del Oeste to begin with. Hey, let me get this started, and here we go. Now, just to start, we know San Sebastián del Oeste as a very peaceful town. Everything is quiet, everything is peaceful, and you can rest and chill all you want. But of course, it's the patron saint Fiesta. So once a year, maybe twice a year, definitely this weekend, things get a little crazy in San Sebastián del Oeste with a lot of parades, a lot of processions, a lot of fireworks, and a lot of musicians meandering around town because there's live music opportunities going on all the time. Now, we had some things in our agenda, and definitely the one thing that we wanted to do as soon as we got there is we wanted to have dinner at Montebello, Coco and Walter's wonderful Italian restaurant in San Sebastián del Oeste. It's been there for many, many years, but I had not had a chance to check out the new location. And of course, it was absolutely dreamy. And it was excellent food as always. And from our vantage point, we could enjoy this stunning sunset. No, you don't necessarily see the actual sun set in the horizon, but the colors of the clouds during the winter months are absolutely mesmerizing. And of course, as soon as the sun sets, temperature goes down, and we were very happy to be perfectly bundled as we had been in San Sebastián this time of year before. We proceeded to head back to the plaza where we saw a lot of people hanging out. And of course, there were some live DJs playing canned music in anticipation of the live music that was going to be performed later on in the evening. Obviously, for copyright reasons, I cannot play you the background music. But as you can see from this video, this must have been around 7 o'clock in the evening, and the plaza was already fairly crowded with people taking advantage of all the vendors that are all over the place. And this is what the stage looks like. And behind the stage on the second story is a coffee shop, a cafe, which is called Café Montaña. And surprisingly enough, it has a balcony, and we found a place to sit right on the balcony behind the stage. Now, one of the reasons why I love this particular place is because they have something called chingaderas. Where's my boom boom? Here we go. They sell chingaderas, which is essentially nachos, but they call them chingaderas. So we ordered chingaderas. We ordered coffee with Baileys, which is another wonderful thing that you can order here. And if I recall correctly, it was Albert who took some of the most amazing photos of the evening. I saw him snapping photos with his smartphone, and I quickly got behind him to take a look at what he was looking at. And indeed, it was a very, very festive evening. We hung out for a little while, but eventually you go to sleep, or you try to go to sleep. And I say that only because there's church bells going on at all time and serious firework action. Now, the following day, it was Monday. if I recall correctly, yes, we arrived on San Sebastián del Oeste on a Sunday. The following day, we did some walking around town, and I suppose this is as good a time as ever to tell you a little bit more about the place where I like to stay in San Sebastián del Oeste. It is called Posada El Oeste. It's a charming small hotel right around the corner from the main plaza. It features 8 rooms, 4 on each story. 4 of the rooms have king-size beds, 4 have double beds. And I remember it was less than 1,000 pesos per night this time of year, and it is actually less than that during the summer months. They have internet, and you can find them on Facebook, and I will make sure that you get that information in the show notes. Now, the hotel is small, but it's beautifully appointed. It has a little courtyard in the middle, and on the one side, you see the balconies, and on the other side is the owner's house. The owner's house is right behind where I'm standing. And just as a curiosity factor, if you look at this balcony up here, that is the balcony where a couple of years ago we learned how to saunter wearing high heels, thanks to Paul Christ, who taught us all the ropes. So this is a great little hotel. I actually like the upper rooms, the rooms in the upper story, the ones in the back. And this happens to be my favorite room, the one upstairs in the back on the left. This is what it looks like. This is one of the king-size rooms. And this is the view from the window. I mean, as you look out, you're looking at the mountains, you're looking at the town. The only bad news about this room is that, again, a little bit to the right of this vantage point is the church. So when the bells are ringing, and they're ringing at colorful times of the day, you're going to hear them. So if you have a certain susceptibility to sound, you may want to bring earplugs this time of the year. But of course, since we took over the entire second story of the hotel, and right outside of the rooms, there are tables where you can sit and hang out. This became our headquarters. So we would visit in this room, on this table, or we would sit by this table and visit. And then whenever it was time for everybody to go into their own time, everybody went to their own table and their own balcony. But from the front of the hallway, like all the way back here, that's the closest to the street. And of course, it is just amazing to stand there or sit there and people watch during the daytime and during the evening. And of course, when we were wearing heels a couple of years ago, that's where we were being people watched, that by people that were wondering, what are those guys doing? But, that's a different story. This time around, all kinds of people, locals, visitors, the church, participating in these very important, respectful processions that take place during several times of the day. And they are usually they're usually accompanied by local bands or bands from nearby municipalities. And of course, this is part of what we did on the second day that we were there. And then we did the usual walk around just to see what new shops have opened and what shops are not there anymore. There were new shops this time around. For that matter, every time that you go to San Sebastián del Oeste, there is something new to discover and explore. And then, of course, it was time to head to the rodeo. The rodeo is not far from the very fancy hotel and restaurant that is right at the entrance of San Sebastián del Oeste. I forget the name, Hacienda Nogal or Villa Nogal, I forget. But it's right next door to it. And I'm sure there were not many guests or any guests staying there this time around because the rodeo gets very, very loud. And this is where the rodeo takes place. That building on the left-hand side, actually, where is it? That building is part of the next door hotel's accommodations. So if you are staying there during Patron Saint Fiestas and expecting a laid back stay, you're not going to get it this time of year. Anyhow, back to the rodeo itself. As you can see, there's the center area where all the action takes place. Then there are VIP tables with plastic chairs set up all around here. And you can get a VIP table and be slightly more comfortable than if you are sitting on the actual bleachers, which are made of concrete. And, they can get a little hard and cold on your bum after a while. As usual, the rodeo participants were introduced early in the game, and then a live banda band started playing, which is the usual. It's the usual tradition at these events. Now, I like good banda, but these guys were playing so loudly that it was very, very difficult to enjoy. I kept toggling between getting close to the stage to see if I could get any good shots of them or the contestants, and the place where we were actually sitting, which was directly across. From that vantage point, we were treated to all kinds of munchies and things that you can buy. You can buy popcorn, you can buy buckets of beer to enjoy while you're enjoying the show. There are some restrooms, although they're not the fanciest restrooms you can find, but that's what you can expect at a rodeo. Then the rodeo contestants started showing up. I think this one was the very first one, but as you can see, things didn't go very well. The guy takes his time to sit down on the bull, and before you can say sit down on the bull, he's already fallen down. And that was the first one, or one of the first. I decided to take my chance and get close to another one and film him from the back, no pun intended. And all the time, the live banda is providing the background soundtrack to this. I don't think I'm going to get copyright problems because I'm playing live music. And this guy, again, takes his time, goes through his ritual, and he will eventually land on the bull, as you will see, sometime before Christmas. And there he goes. But before you can say Happy New Year, he falls off the bull. So again, as I mentioned when I came back from the trip this year, the rodeo was a little bit lackluster. We left right after the intermission. We could have stayed, but the music was honestly uncomfortably loud, and we did not have earplugs, but we will make sure to bring them next year because the rodeo can be a lot of fun if you are into that sort of thing. After the rodeo, of course, we went back and walked to the hotel and caught another one of these amazing sunsets. And that night we went to bed early, despite the constant fireworks and whatnot. And because we knew that we were going to come back into Puerto Vallarta very early the following day. So the following day, we got up early to try to find coffee somewhere. And of course, there were crews cleaning around the main plaza. And this is just one of several piles of empty tequila bottles that we saw perfectly organized on the plaza. Of course, a lot of vendors hold on to these bottles and then they use them to bottle homemade liqueurs and whatnot. And that was essentially the meat and potatoes of our trip. But here is the amazing breakthrough that I made while we were doing this. I needed to get to the ATM, and because I needed to get cash, I had run out of cash, and we got to the ATM. The ATM was not working, but next to the ATM on a bulletin board, this sign caught my attention. This is a company called Transportes del Oeste that I had never heard anything about. And they do daily van round trips from Puerto Vallarta to San Sebastián del Oeste and back. They have 2 departures, one in the morning from Zona Romántica, from Emiliano Zapata, and one in the afternoon. And then in the same fashion, when you are in San Sebastián del Oeste, they have a departure from San Sebastián to Puerto Vallarta in the morning and one in the afternoon. It is very affordable. It was listed at 400 pesos. No, what was it? Let me see it. The letters are too small. It was 500 pesos round trip. That's what it was. 500 pesos round trip from Puerto Vallarta to San Sebastián del Oeste. So for anyone that does not have a vehicle, this is a very convenient way to get in and out of San Sebastián del Oeste. And the company has their own Facebook page. They are called Transportes del Oeste. And they have what seems like a very well put together website where you can let them know what time and what day you want to do the trip and buy your tickets accordingly. And this is something that is definitely staying with me after the trip. The reason being is that I've been pining spending more time in San Sebastián del Oeste, but not having a vehicle. I have to rely on the kindness of my friends to get there and back. And sometimes that's possible, sometimes not so much. But now that I know that for 500 pesos, I can essentially go to San Sebastián del Oeste whenever I want and come back whenever I want, this is something that I will definitely consider in the future. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of today's pre-recorded broadcast. I truly hope you, oh my God, where are my announcements? I truly hope you enjoyed today's content, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you again on Monday morning live with more coffee, more headlines, and more stories for all to enjoy. Have a great weekend.